Yes, good evening, ladies and gentlemen. I hope I find you well. Murizei kumadhima nenyika akasiyana siyana bhazi rose pasi penyika. I hope you guys, you're okay. Right, yes, welcome to the space. I see Queenie, you're already requesting. Madhubadala in here, boys, runway. Wavy is in the building. Thank you very much for coming through, Justice M. How you doing, Tembo? Really say, Houston, how are you? Ziva, Magasimbe, Roko, Nkoma Lenso, really say, Zero G, how you doing, Baba Juju? How are you? Economic development, dance economic number 2030. I hope you are good. Political philosophers really say, I see it tonight. Say, how you doing? I hope you are good. Zimbabwe 24/7. Really say, Majita, how are you? I see Tawanda. How you doing, Kulekane? How are you? Walk Eyes, how you doing? Welcome to the sport. Dr. Freedom. Really say, Comrade Hard Target. I hope you are good. Jomo. Really say, Magadi, Magalisa. I hope you are good. Hussein, really say, I hope you are good. Mandisa. Really say, Apple. It's Sakanyi. I hope you are good. Talimu Faro. Really say, I see General Zimba. How you doing? Welcome to the space. Mofutino. Really say, Chineka. How you doing? I hope you're good. I see one John. I hope you're good. Longway. How are you, Sister Greeters? Say. Jeffrey Chigudu, thank you for the follow. Follow you back. Zingai, how are you? I hope you're good. I see Ismail. How are you? How you doing? Marvin Cheeks, how you doing, Mr. Mike? Thank you very much for the follow. Follow you back. Right. Indiana Ripapo Mashonisa. Say, I hope you're good. Thank you for the follow. Follow you back. Casper, how you doing? I hope you're good. Thank you for the follow. Follow you back. Geraldine, how you doing? I will not say your last name, but I hope I hope you're good. But anyway, hey guys, right, Mickey Mouse is really say, I see Francis in the building. I hope you're good. Kudzai Flomani is really say, I hope you're good. Thank you for the follow. I followed you back, right? Ganesh tags. Really say, I hope you're good. Mimshak Tyler, how you doing? I hope you're good. Thank you very much for the follow. I followed you back, and anyone to see for any. How are you? Thank you for the follow. Followed you back. I see. Right, Passy. I hope you are good, Sandra. How you doing? I hope you are good, Newton Mox. How you doing? I hope you are good, Madala. How are you? Be legit. Really say. Zimas. I hope you are good. Welcome to the sport. Right, Dr. Freedom. How are you? How you doing? Right, I see also Hot Seat. How are you? Welcome to the space. Smarters. How you doing? Jumbo Janua, I hope you're good. Welcome to the space. Mkoma Denzel, really say, hey, Mofu Titus, how are you? And welcome to the space. Mkoma Emmanuel Zelas Gumbo. Thank you very much for joining me. Really say, Ziva up on Magasimba Here. I hope I said everybody and are visible kuoneka kune vamwe vanenge vari kuma other listeners. I welcome you to the space as well. But anyway, zviri sei vanhu vamwari. Aiwa, ndinofara kukuonai, ndinofara. Happy to see you to be, hanzi, happy to see you, happy seeing you. But anyway, rekatimbosiyani zvemafanisi, rekatimboenda kune nyaya chaiyo yatinayo. Yeah, just covering, some of the things, that have been happening today, including the topic, that we have is something, that happened today. And so it has received so much attention, and I've seen so many people commented, on it, expressed, their views. And some people, you know, appreciated where Advocate Nelson Chamisa was coming from, and some people were questioning what he was saying. So just decided, to open this space so that we can have this conversation. We can have your reaction right here on the space. But kuopposition kukulitika zvakawanda. Kulitika zvakawanda kuopposition. Nasi in the morning, there was, there was supposed to have been a meeting perhaps at the house, apparently kuti vadhaki dhaki vakanzizo nevanoona nezvekutongwa kwenyaya utungamiri hwavo hweMDCT hausi utsvene. Saka vakanzi izoni aiwa pazai utungamiri ihwohwo muise mumwe utungamiri mutsva, like utungamiri hutsva. Saka from the information that I had nokutaurawo nevamwe who are close to the development, ndeyekuti when that judgment was handed down by the High Court, Dagi Dagi, he appealed, the appeal was rejected. He made another appeal, the appeal was rejected. So these guys, they were left with no option but to have an organization that is called the Movement for Democratic Changirai, that he had no leadership. So these guys are supposed to go and do their congress and have a substantive leadership in place. But what was going on in the past, few weeks, was that these guys, they were, in combs, they were talking to each other, trying to find each other, and try to say, "Kuti, I will let bygones be bygones. I will let zvatakatadzirana be remain ikoko, and then let us forge ahead and re-establish ourselves as the MDC Changirai, restore him to his former glory, and have this organization have a vibrant leadership, and then get people to re-engage with the organization, and feel what the organization is intended to do. But zviri kunzi izvoni ku one side kwanga kune ma communications anga ari kuitika. Ku one side kwanga kwakamira vamonzora nerimwe timu ravo, then kumwe kuside kwanga kwakamira vamudzuri navakomichi nevamwewo. But from what I gathered, zviri kunzi izvo vakaedza kutaurirana, vakaedza kuwirirana, vakati aiwa ka musi weThursday uchireva nhasi, we are going to then meet makuseni tiri paHarvest House, toita cement disagreement, towirirana, tobva taita the way forward. But surprise surprise, vanhu vamudzuri vasvika paHarvest House pakakiwa. Dagi Dagi was not there. But zviri kunzi izvo timu raDagi Dagi vakanga vawirirana nazvo, but Dagi Dagi is not in agreement with this, because what Dagi Dagi is saying ndezvekuti he wants to forget about the court decision, forget about uzwe zvekuitwa nematare edzimhosva. Isusu our congress, next congress iriko 2027. Saka ndo patichaita congress yekusarudza mumwe mutungamiri nhingi wenyika. As it stands now, inini as mutungamiri wenyika, sadhaki dhaki, I'll always remain in my position. Saka it seems as if there is this kakafo that is going on, that is happening between these guys, and I believe they are far, far, far away from coming together and ironing out their differences. Saka ndochitiko chaibozwa navanhu vati ko nyaya ichiri kufamba sei, but inyaya yandikanga ndaudzwawo nepeople who are very close to the development, kuti vakanga vatowirirana, vanga vatotadzizwa hata kutochimhanya chinhu ichi, and the people were eager to come and meet and go ahead and do what is supposed to be done in terms of reviving the MDC as a political party, and as it was known back in the day. But zvikuita kunge like zvazvaitika nhasi, mapurisa azopedzisira auya vazoita sei, ende zviri kunzi izvo dhaki ndiadedza nemapurisa. But ava vazotadza kuenda sei, vazotadza kupinda muHarvest House, vazongosarawo nevakamira kunze, vabva vaadhiresa vakamira kunze. Panenge paita kamhirizhonga kabopoto kadiki diki hakana hako kuzoita escalate and reverberate around Harvest House area kuti zvaizokonzeresa madhisinyongoro, but hazvina kuzopedzisira zvadaro hazvo. But anyway, kangori kachiitirwe kaita ndangoti ningokuita sei, ningokuita bring up to speed pane kachiitirwe ikako. because inini ndakanga ndapromisana nerimwe timu racho kuti aiwa kana muchinge maita zvamoita then toita sei mouya pano paspace tokurukura nyaya yenyu since murikuda kuti izvo vana vezimbabwe vanzwa kuti nyaya yenyu yakamira sei, but inenge yafa yakarodha. Asi kuziva kuti zvavachauya here kuti vazonyatsotsanangurira kuti izvo zvii zvaitika, what is it that happened, zvafamba sei, etc. Saka ndipo patiri mhofu muri sei?
Rebo murise yangu.
Ndiri bhobho ari semalefu.
Aribo. Pandaona article yenyama poster ndatombofunga kuti is this from some 2 years ago? I didn't realize that it's recent ikayana daki.
Aiwa zvaitika nhasi mapseni.
Zvimwe zvacho zvingooneka deja vu, so ufunga kuti kuverenga zvinhu zvekuma 2018 2021.
Ama zvaitika nhasi makuseni, but daki is digging in. Aiwa daki ataratidza forget about zvima court judgment zvatinei nazvo izvi. Isusu hutungamiri wedu husika 2027
kana wadangotamisa nguva iyo
made
vachine mafollowers here mapoliticians ivaya.
Aiwa vanga variko mukatarisa mavhidhiyo iyo ndingenatumira hatina kuzoona hangu vanhu vanga vachiadresa, but pane vanhu vakatikurukurwa navo.
Pakaipa.
Pane vanhu vakatikurukurwa navo, saka handizoziva hangu kuti izvo zviri kufamba sei, but from maconversations vanotaura kuti aiwa they are at advanced stage kuti izvo vagadzirise nebato ravo.
All right, advanced stage. I think I've heard that before. Maybe vakomichi vakataura navo kuseri vakati ngatibatane vakomana unity. So maybe ndo zvavari kutry kuita kuseri ikoko.
Yeah, ndo zvavari kutry kuita unity, but unity yacho seems to be a stretch.
Yeah, I think chokwadi chichazobuda zvacho pavanhu, because politics will humble you. But you're going to your topic today, Uncle, is quite a loaded statement from President Nelson Chamisa, because he actually said, in my leadership, and the best decision that he has made in his leadership journey. So the question will be, there will be a question, why does he say that? And from those, I think that's where that statement is, for me, is quite loaded. And I would love to hear people unpacking it and think why he's actually saying it's one of the best decisions that I've made. From a layperson's view, from a person who can, try and see from his side, I think it's obvious why he says that, because we've all seen, because of that decision, we've seen a lot of people that have been, kind of exposed themselves, havana kumira nemukuru uyu. People are just there for their stomachs and stuff like that. So, and it even says from MDC and CCC. So I think I would really, really love to hear what the audience have to say about this. If he says this is one of the best decisions I've made in my leadership journey. He's been a leader from way before. Nowadays at Harare Polytechnic, he's been a leader for years. And for him to say, it's one of those strategic decisions that I've made, I would really love to, to understand what other people would say about it. Then maybe we can always chip in and say our points as well.
Right. Yeah, and also because when I first saw this, I first saw the message yapostwa ku Facebook, which is the one that I sort of ran with.
Okay.
Yapostwa on Facebook, but ndazoona yaposta ku X yakati siyanei in terms of kuti pavati izvo and thank me later. Facebook it goes on to say more, but
okay,
yangogumira pakuti izvo you thank me later. Yekuku yataura kuti izvoni ninge nyaya yekuenda round in circles. I needed to put amira ndiverenge ninge zvanenge ndichiona.
Okay, yeah,
so
not
that
actually read the Facebook one.
So that ninge tisavhiringidze vanhu, right? Because tikavhiringidza vanhu kaazizoita. But I'm quite sure most of you guys, you've seen the one that he posted to Facebook on his, Facebook account.
audience dzakasiyana kangu.
Yeah, audience ndingine ndatokufunga kuti zva audience dzasiyana ka. Dzaka ndinge mameseji ambo siyana. But handiti vataura kuti the best decision I ever made in my leadership journey was to
Yes.
walk away from MDC and CCC.
Mm-hmm.
You will thank me later. I
Correct.
had to break the cycle of going in circles, and that was my best way to teach ED a lesson.
All right.
Ndoiri kufacebook iyo manje. Saka ndo
Right.
pandazoona ndo pandazoona imwe yacho manje, imwe yacho rogumira pana you know you thank me later. Ndikati vakaipa mara vakwekwe.
Audience X, butter faster, faster. First, okay.
Because audience Facebook yanga hatanozotanga within 1 hour yanga kanda more than 500 comments ndikati pakaipa. We are less than an hour baka vakarwa kavane comments audience Facebook ndikati uko makwikwi.
Makwikwi.
But
Makwikwi.
yeah, but anyway, welcome everyone. If you can reshare, repost, retweet, whatever it is, that you do, it will be very much appreciated. So, what we want to do today, ladies and gentlemen, is as seen because if you go on his handle here, go Facebook, go Chato Ghana, I think it's Chato Ghana more. Because if you look at
Mm.
if you look at Facebook, I chapinda 5.8
Oh,
comments. Bajaro was
5,000.
75 shares.
Right.
Bajaro was 7.9k. My likes, my laughing emojis, my hearts, my everything all combined together.
Mm.
And then magazoya manje panapa batiri panapa batiri panapa aiwa nichafamba futhi.
Chiri kufamba.
Aiwa chiri kufamba kwete zvekutamba.
Vanounza basa kuvanhu president.
Aiwa vanounza. Chinhu chapanapa vanenge chavhiewa 134,000
Yeah.
times. Vachapiwa malikes, maloved likes 2k.
Mm.
Vachatwa reshared 441 times. Vanhu vakomenda ipapo 786 vanga vachikomenda. And then kuna
All
vamwe
right.
vanga vachizoshare vachizokomendawo makoments achizobudikira nokoko. Kweta mwashare
Nekusave.
makoments achibudikira nekoko.
Mm.
Saka, I mean, I know kuti, no, not kuti izvo, he does not get, this kind of, reaction. No, that is
Mm.
not, the point, that we are saying. He gets, the reaction. It's not,
Absolutely.
yeah, it's not new to him. This
Mm.
is, this is nothing in
It's
terms
a
of,
normal day to him, right?
exactly, it's a normal day for him.
Mm.
Yeah, but it's just that I've not heard him speak, like this.
Mm-hmm.
Yes, I've not heard him, speak like this.
You went for the jugular.
Yes. Go to both formations.
Mm.
I made the decision to walk away. Akafanana nekuti mhofu make a decision imimi kuti past life yenyu muchailava.
Yes.
You are now walking away. I'm walking away. I'm gonna click David.
Yes.
From troubles in my life, I'm walking away. But when you make that decision to be walking away,
Yes.
for me, it tells me one thing: a new beginning.
Absolutely.
And that is quite interesting. What kind of new beginning are we in for?
And I think what he does as well, Uncle, is if during the time that he actually made that decision, if there were some reservations at the back of his mind,
Mhm.
I think the actions that came on later, just made him realize he actually, it was actually the best decision that he made. Kana vakambofunga kuti, you know what, maybe it's not the right thing. I think the actions that followed through just justified everything that happened. I think that's what he was
Exactly.
trying to say here.
Exactly. That is how loaded this thing is.
Mm-hmm.
That is how loaded this thing is. Kuti, what is it that has happened ever since he made the decision on the 24th of January to make an announcement in 2024 to make an announcement that he is dumping CCC.
CCC.
He's walking away. He is leaving party politics. And when we then look at that point to where we are, what is it that has happened
Happened.
that can make you say, "Good, Henaro, you made a good decision"?
Absolutely.
Yeah. Anyway, ngatinzwe kuti vamwe vanoti but it's also facilitate a conversation. That is, that is what we do. Is always we facilitate the conversation. So people, if you want to make a contribution, if you want to say something, if you want to comment, if you want to say anything that you want to say pertaining to what we are talking about here, just make the request, and then we'll bring you as a speaker. I see, Kuti, you have added these folks. Awful. I don't know what order you've added them, so if we can give them an opportunity to come through.
Yes, yes. The order is I think Tinashe Leonard Mdini, Zimbabwe YBS. I think that was the order, Uncle.
Right.
Hi, mkoma Jedza.
Yeah, it's been a minute. Munomwenda kupiko asi magesi paanoenda kuZimbabwe kwenyu uku.
Yeah, it's been a while.
Munobva maenda zvese
Magetsi
newifi
ari
here.
kunetsa. Magetsi haana kumbomira kunetsa, but taangozonyarara zvese. Taangozonyarara because takaona kuti kutaura kwacho we're wasting time.
Anyway, no problem. Please take the mic.
Thank you, and thank you, Mkoma Titus. Long time, everyone. We are here. And I think there's been a lot of silence from many people as well. But Advocate National Chamisa came through and he spoke out and he says, "Listen, this is the best decision I've ever made." And how I look at it for me is to say he has looked at it retrospectively. Chamisa speaking from his perspective, of course, people will argue with him. Other people will say, "Shamru Taram Dara Twira Najo." But here, from his perspective, knowing the journey that he has walked, he has looked at it and he says, "Guys, listen, this is the best decision that I have ever made." Yegusia MDC, Yegusia CCC. Because the challenge is now when I look at it from my own perspective, looking at what he says, I agree with him. Because the challenge Agaitika is in trying to get to the new, because we always talk about a new Zimbabwe, we always talk about new systems, new leadership. We know, for example, Advocate Manehere always talks about we need new leaders, chi 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 chi. Changirai did a very good job with the MDC and with what he tried to do to free the nation of Zimbabwe from dictatorship, from tyranny. And anyone who would disagree or argue that Zimbabwe is a dictatorship, Zimbabwe has got tyrants leading it, at least you turning about Titichi. But the honest truth of the matter is that Zimbabwe is a dictatorship, and there are so many complications that come with that. When we all know kuti when Changirai Pakafa and when Advocate Nelson Chamisa took over, there was so much resistance even towards Chamisa himself, with other people claiming that he had done a coup. And we all know the stories. I'm not going to go through all of that history. But some of the people who were with him, who were claiming to be with him, were not with him at all. So I'm seeing his statement saying, "Listen, when I look at this, ndakafamba nevanhu ndichifunga kuti kufamba nevanhu, but we were not working together," which is why when I agreed with his statement, I said, the scriptures talks about how, and we know Advocate Nelson Chamisa likes to post scriptures, and he's been posting scriptures, he's been posting riddles. For those who understand, those who have eyes to see and ears to hear, some can pick up some of the other things that he says when he talks about having the giraffe vision and being able to see zviri challenge yakaitwa ndeyekuti akafamba nevanhu vanga vasingatombowirirani naye. And you notice that there was a point where Chamisa says, how can people who are not of like minds and hearts, how can they? You remember there's that time he did that when the whole Chabangu thing was happening and everybody was up in arms and we were all confused. And I remember people were always asking, "Kuti, hey, what's happening? Chi chi chi." But we know as time has reviewed and time has reviewed all. So the best decision, as I see it, is that it has reviewed the hearts and minds of a lot of people. Because yes, pane vanhu vakatuka Chamisa. Vachadzoka sei kuna Chamisa? Vakamutuka kudaro. And we're talking about some people who had aspirations for leadership. Some people were claiming they had aspirations to see forth the new Zimbabwe. We know, we have seen, for example, the mayor of Ricos. We've seen so much that has happened. So it is the best decision because in living, also because people were saying, no, Chamisa arikutadza, Chamisa arikutadza. Kusiya kwakaita was also great because akasiya akati indazvisiya imimi vacho vanogona chiitai. You see, so he said those who are able should lead and let them lead. And up to now, no one has had the guts. No one has had the courage, the confidence to stand up and say, I am a leader. Chamisa ingati mkangamwe zvake uyu haana basa uyu. Inini, I am the leader who can take up this vacuum and can come up against this dictatorship and come up against tyranny. And so he's saying this is the best decision because I showed you guys, first of all, I showed you that I'm not addicted to power. In that, despite the fact that these are vehicles of change, which I was a very big player and a very big part of, I decided to leave it and to say, let me leave this for those who claim we are able to take these vehicles and lead the people of Zimbabwe to the new Zimbabwe. And so he says, listen, I've shown you that I'm not power hungry, first of all, because I can resign. We don't know what it is to resign because our president was Pakaitka coup, which was not a coup. So we are seeing a lot of things, and I personally, so this is my personal opinion, and I know so many may not agree with it, but I agree with him. I agree with him so much because there has been so much that has been revealed. And when the new does come, Zichanakidza, because you will see many who try to start speaking about false unity and talking about, hey, we've always been with you. But how are you going to say, I've always been with you, President Chamisa, when the internet does not forget? We know what you have said. We have seen clearly, you have spoken, you have derided. And you see, why it was also the best decision is you cannot lead when others are undermining your authority. The problem with the MDC and CCC was we had these old guys who kept on saying we are better than Chamisa. Some who even said we existed before him. And so you can never lead when someone is undermining your authority. You need to be able to lead when you have people who are of like heart, like mind. You can only lead when they are, and I mean leading effectively, because there's a difference between saying you're leading when partners and leading effectively when you're having a team. So now I see his statement as a bold assertion of saying, listen, guys, izvi takasiya zvakudhara izvi hazvina zvazvinobatsira. Yes, some people might get angry, some people might be bitter, some people might say, hey, makatisiya chi, but havana kusiya, because he's always been with the people. And to be honest, everyone who knows will boldly claim, no, he never left the people, which is why he is termed the people's president. He's called the people's president because he's always with the people. Even when people were saying, vanhu ngavabve kuparliament, this is what the people were saying. But you see, and he was reverberating and regurgitating and speaking about what the people, the desires of the people. So he's always been with the people. He's never left the people. What he left were vehicles which were now tainted and had been hijacked. Because you realize there's a point where you see if vehicle can hijack up to this point, if this vehicle has been infiltrated up to this point, in the journey that we are trying to get to, you
Right.
need to actually have something that's new. Thank you, Uncle. I
Thank
know
you
I
very
took a
much
very long.
for being the
Yeah.
first speaker, for putting out these points across. But can I just inquire with you? Just putting out there. Somebody might be listening, right, and might say, because when you say that in an organization you need to have people who are like minded, with the same you say the same what?
The same hearts and
The same
minds.
heart and mind.
And he actually said that.
Yes.
If you
So
remember, there's a tweet that he posted.
yeah. So uh, can I take that to mean that everybody who's in there must always be agreeing? There's not going to be any dissenting voice in terms of not seeing things in the same direction and having a conversation, iron out differences, and then moving on. Is this
No.
if somebody interprets that in that way, what will be the response?
So being of like heart and like mind doesn't mean there's no disagreements. Disagreements would definitely be there. Being of like heart and like mind means, Kuti, we have the same objectives, of which you see Kuti, people do not have the same objective, which is wind up an example Kuti, when the people said "Vanhu ngavabve kuparliament," this was the people. So we're not saying let's not disagree. Saka disagreements antodiwa. Actually, you will see Kuti, in the road towards a democracy or in a democratic movement, there are so many ideas. People do not agree on so many things. Inini Nemi Uncle, we actually might not agree on so many things, but I will come on this platform and be of like heart and like mind with you because I understand your objective, what you want to do with this platform. So I'll come on this platform, and even on this platform, I have to be respectful. Kutina ndingati uncle mandi stopper, no, but that's uncle, you can't stop me. You see, so that's, I don't know if that
Yeah,
helps.
thank you very much, for that. I think, you must, that knowledge, right? You must drop it to some folks because I've got a problem here. There are some folks that, if I say right, it's a signal that, you need to come to an end. And folks, don't listen to the signal.
Right,
Yes?
but
Yeah, you must drop the knowledge. But anyway, thank you very much for coming tonight. I do appreciate it. Right. Let's go to the next speaker.
I think Leonard was coming. So Leonard, as you come in, we've also seen Kutiku opposition. Unfortunately, there's fights within the opposition. For some reason, my oppositions are not to fight within each other. So talking of Nelson Chamisa Joe, he had a lot of stuff in terms of how he's a dictator kind of, he does his own thing and stuff. There were people of the same mind, say, to borrow Tinashe's words, of that to say, Chin Chake is taking his own thing. Then when he left, we even saw a meeting that happened between Welshman and Anamai Kore and other leaders. Pakataura Nyekuti, there will be a change of presidential power. Why is it that is, because if these people agreed, good, okay, the leader had these weaknesses, and they all agree, and they are leaders, and then they came together and they said, they will take this vehicle forward. Why is it that did not take off? Why is it a year later we failed to see, you van in same mind and same ideology, so to speak, and they saw the weaknesses in this specific leader, and they all agreed that they came together. Why is it that it failed to take off? But you can also respond to that, which is a submission here.
Okay. Thank you, Uncle Jay. Thank you, Taffy, for the invite. You see, we have a problem here with the kind of opposition that we have in Zimbabwe. If you wind back during the times of Job Sikala, the times of Lenmo Jongwe, Timothy Mabau, this young man who went to UK, Anzaniko Chafadzwa Musekiwa. So that kind of opposition, that kind of we sorely miss those guys during those days when they entered the politics. Even the young Nelson Chamisa during those days, That was the kind of opposition that we envy, and we wanted that kind of opposition to continue. But I just realized that no, it's all later on when Changirai died. That's when people thought that entering the opposition was another way of finding employment, as employment also scarce in the country, and the people could maneuver their way into politics so that they can get that kind of employment and so forth. So a lot of Zimbabweans now are wondering how they can fit into this new political discourse, is the hunger for political change once. So we have a situation right now whereby those people whom we thought they are representing the masses, those people whom we thought they are representing the marginalized, those people whom we thought they are representing the unemployed. If you look clearly, if you look the political discourse in the country, there are a lot of people who are the foot soldiers who goes around mobilizing people, vote for MDC, vote for CCC, vote for whatever party, the opposition, so that we can get jobs. And so those people are very, very genuine, but they've been shortchanged by greedy politicians whom we have, because during that time when Chamisa had a problem with Shabangu, I expected all the MPs to resign en masse, but people thought of their pockets, to line their pockets, and there was no other way they could resign. They thought of those freebies and benefits coming with the parliamentary post and so forth. So they thought, no, it's not the right way to do it. It's only a principled person whom I know, this Fadai Mahere, and this one from Harare North, who said no, that's it, but they resigned, right? And they gave to Ostalos as well. So we don't have principled kind of opposition. So I'm putting myself in the shoes of Nelson Chamisa. If I come across such things, when I thought maybe I've got people, I've got the leadership beside me, and the things are happening the way they are happening, and we continue to experience such kind of thing. So Chamisa knew that the judiciary has been captured. Whenever he was going with his presentation of his case, there was no way Chamisa was going to win against Shabangu, because Shabangu had a backup, a very serious backup in the mood of Emerson Mnangagwa. You understand? So Mnangagwa previously said, we have captured, we've got everything. We are the police, we are the army, we are the military, we are everything. So in a situation like Zimbabwe right now, talking of the strongest opposition political party, it's a pipe dream. So that's why Nelson Chamisa saw that no, it can't continue, because the party has been infiltrated. We understand that there are people, of course, some people with the different opinions saying that no, there was no need for Nelson Chamisa to quit a party which he formed and so forth. But how did they expect him to continue in such a poisoned chalice like the CCC and the MDC? And look what Monzora did. Monzora had that kind of support again from Emerson Mnangagwa's regime. We saw the Harvest House going to Monzora. We saw a lot of things happening. Even up to now, things are happening. But why is it that people are still saying Chamisa, Chamisa, yet Chamisa doesn't have a political party? And that shows that Chamisa has got those kind of leadership. It's not like I'm bootleting Nelson Chamisa, but people are still talking about Nelson Chamisa, yet he doesn't have even any political party. Why people are not talking of Weshumi Ngowe, the likes of Kareni Konye, the likes of Jacob Ngaruvume, the likes of Job Scala, the likes of Douglas Monzora? So we used to have that kind of a powerful opposition party once in the year 2000, when Morgan Tsvangirai was still the leader of the movement of democratic change. But it has just changed to such a situation whereby people are just there to line their pockets. Even Panguya Takabushika Kuti during 2000, I remember at that time I was still serving in the Zimbabwe Republic Police. I even thought of joining MDC because that's what join MDC. It was a ticket for me to just win, even cancel elections. I mean, ministerial. A member of parliament. I could win because people just wanted change during those days. So people took advantage that any opposition which is going to contest, especially if you are coming from the opposition like MDC, it was an automatic ticket. Even up to now, people still believe that there's a certain kind of element where people can vote for MDC. Am I still laudable, ladies and gentlemen?
Yes, we can hear you.
Oh, okay, fine. Yeah, let me just try to land. Yeah. So for over 20 years, our opposition has been focusing in furthering their own interest instead of furthering the interest of the people. Right now, if you think of going to election, if even Chamisa comes up with a political party, I don't see Nelson Chamisa winning the next election because right now, 2028 is just around the corner. If even if forms a political party in the contest in 2028, already Emerson Mnangagwa has captured everything. He's captured the judiciary, he's captured the police, he's captured the military. He reshuffled everything to his own advantage. So I don't see any election coming whereby the opposition will win in the 2028 election. It's a phase now. It's going to be a phase, ladies and gentlemen. Let us be honest with each other here. People have been frustrated. People are trying to now find ways to fit into the new political discourse. But as we speak, we don't have a very strong opposition party to wrestle power from a regime like ZANU-PF that has captured every institution. They've captured even the schools. They've captured even the colleges and universities. You understand? So there are a lot of political opposition outfits there who are feigning to be tackling the problems faced by the people, but yet there we see them dining with the opposition, the likes of Wende, and a lot of guys. I don't want to mention a lot of names here, but we know those people who are now dining with the opposition, and they're not even talking about coming with reforms. We've got the diaspora who are ready to fund the movement. We've got the diaspora who are remitting foreign currency to the country so that it moves. But no one is talking about the diaspora vote. So, okay, fine, let's think that we are going for the election in 2028. What is going to be the output without those reforms? We understand that ZANU-PF cannot reform itself out of power. But without reforms, guys, will be wasting our time. So putting myself in the shoes of Nelson Chamisa, it was the best way to move away from MDC. We saw how Douglas Monzora was captured. We saw the people from ZANU-PF clapping hands for Douglas Monzora. That is the right person for the person to move out the new dispensation or politics of rational disputation. So it's become a norm in Zimbabwe that the ruling elites, they always have champagnes, dinner, whilst the electorate are languishing in abject poverty. Thank you, ladies and gentlemen.
Right. Thank you very much, for that. We appreciate tonight. Let's move on to the next speaker, please. What's it name?
Zimbabwe.
Hey, how you doing?
I'm well, Uncle Jed. How are you?
No, I'm good. I'm good. Thank you very much, for joining us. Right. Give us your take, please. Give us your reaction.
Thank you. Hi, Titus. Thank you for the platform. I agree with the points that have been raised by the previous speakers. I think that it was the best decision to walk away from the MDC and CCC because it has exposed the kind of rot that has been in the opposition. I remember there was a time when Professor Ibomandaza spoke before the last election and said, if the CCC is to win and form a government, there are less than 10 people of quality in this, CC. Many of us, we insulted him, but he was telling the truth. And we can see that, we have people. I'm actually convinced that, there are people who could have been bought by ZANU-PF to the point of even poisoning Advocate Edson Chamisa, if he had remained in the CCC. And what pains me the most is that we see that, many of the people who have been in these leadership positions in the opposition, they don't deserve to be there. They are usually just protected by, the popularity of the leaders and everything, but on their own, they don't have substance, most of them. But for me now to say it was a best decision, yes, I think it was a best decision on the part that it exposed the rot in the opposition politics. But for it to be the best, I think it will come out from what Advocate Nelson Chamisa is going to do going forward. Okay, if he's going to come up with a solid political movement that is going to bring transformation, that's where I will say 100% it was a good move. If it is not going to achieve that, then it will be partly the best decision, but partly not the best decision, because we want to see the fruits of that decision in terms of transformation. But I also think we need to look at these decisions separately. In respect of the MDC, we know the court judgment, what, the late Alex Magaisa used to call the constitutionally, enacted MDC. It was good for him to walk away because of that compromise. Of course, we can have differences in terms of, what happened when he took over. But of course, at that time, that was the best decision to make. We were towards an election. You couldn't go to a Congress. It would lead to divisions and all that. So politically, it was expedient to rise to power the way that he did. But there are some misgivings there. But for the CCC now, I have some. For me, the main question is not whether it was best to walk away or not. The main question for me is what led to the walking away. And of course, I wouldn't expect him to remain there. But for me, where we need to put our attention is what is it that led to him walking away? What could have been done differently? What are the lessons from that? If we don't pay attention to that, I think we will still go in circles. For my take, I know people say no, ZANU-PF always infiltrate, even if there were structures, you can't stop. Obviously, that is the truth. We can't argue on that basis. ZANU-PF would still have done something. But for me, I think what we need to do is what kind of structures do you need to put in place? How do you strengthen those structures instead of removing them? Yes, we are in an abnormal political environment. We acknowledge that. You cannot 100% function conventionally. You need to bring some unconventional means. But you can't literally remove the conventional means, the conventional structures. I mean, for me, that was a mistake on the part of the CCC. I think ZANU-PF would have still tried, but at least let there be some structures that help. So I expect that then going forward, the focus should be on putting solid in what I would refer to as infiltration-proof structures, and not doing away with the structures again. Okay, because for me it contributed a lot, and I think we shouldn't. We can blame ZANU-PF all we want, Ango Jet, and ZANU-PF will never stop doing that. So we need to move to a point where we say we are going to bring change, whether ZANU-PF likes it or not. With what we have to find strategies of working in this abnormal political environment and bring change, because we are going to blame ZANU-PF until we die. Some of us, we are old that we may not see any change, but we've been supporting the opposition for decades. So how long are we going to blame ZANU-PF? We should be saying from now going forward, we are not going to blame ZANU-PF because we know it doesn't yield anything. ZANU-PF is always ZANU-PF. We are going to find strategies to make sure that we stop them in their tracks and get power. For me, that's the kind of language that I want to hear now. Not this language of saying, no, ZANU-PF like this, ZANU-PF like that. So what? If you are in a war, Ango Jet, with I will be now landing with an enemy that doesn't respect the rules of war. You can't keep on saying, no, this enemy does not respect the rules of law. Because whether you say it or not, it doesn't change anything. The question is, how do you deal with such an enemy? What strategies are you supposed to be using? And that's where I see us as the opposition lacking. We don't have that capacity to face the kind of dictatorship that we have. So we are getting old, Ango Jet. Opportunity, people are dying every day. And we can't keep on saying ZANU-PF is like this, like this. I don't want to hear that language anymore.
Right.
I want to hear the language of solution.
Yeah. The question that was posed by Chipo Dendere, who said that she began by saying, my biggest gripe with all CCC leadership, including the former president, NC, is how did Shabangu happen? It bothers me deeply that none of the elected people, including those who quit, have spoken out about the situation. Without the full truth, we can't really move forward. So when you hear such a speech, when you hear such a sentiment, being expressed, and I know that you sort of touched on something to do with that. Kuti pasisi apa pane something in chakaitika that you could not understand as opposed to the moving away from the MDC.
Uncle Jez.
Yes. Do you?
Oh, can I respond to that one?
No. You can't. You can't. Respond because I haven't finished. What I'm trying. To ask. Yeah. So looking at that, is it no, but I don't ask you.
So you were talking about how Chabango happened from Chipo's Dendera's question.
Oh yeah. So because she says without understanding what happened, we can't move forward, right? And then we've got NC telling us that him moving away is the best decision that he ever made, right? Meaning that there's something new that is coming, that is totally different from the past. Is it a case of understanding the past for the future to be well understood in terms of how we might deal with such events like the events that happened in the past?
Can I answer you, Ibabu
Yes,
Angojet?
Ango,
I have an answer for that.
maybe I can go, then you can come.
Miraya Komana, I am talking to Zimbabwe uh opposition monitoring. If you then want to then answer that when your turn comes, it's okay. But I am engaging with Zimbabwe, so I need because Zimbabwe is the one that has said something that made me to want to go back to what Chipo said. So over to you, Zimbabwe.
Thank you, Ango Jed. One of the things that I think is important in politics is we are fallible, Ango Jed. I was listening to the president of Botswana. He was saying that, if you have a better idea than I have, I listen to what you are saying and I look into the merits of what you are saying. If I realize that what you are saying is true, I will acknowledge publicly and say, no, I thought this is right, but this brother, this sister actually gave me, a better idea. So I'm now changing course. But if I think that what I think is right, I will try to convince you and win you over my side. So he says, I don't see why people sometimes who have the same agenda and they end up quarreling because they have different opinions. So what I think lacks in our politics is the courage to acknowledge certain weaknesses that we have. When we say that this leader has done this thing wrong or that wrong, we are not saying you are not a leader. You know. So I would appreciate Uncle Jed to come to a place where our leaders will say, I was wrong in this area because of this and that, and I'm going to rectify that. So looking at that question, it is very, of course, the issue of infiltration is there. We can't deny it. Brian Matebuka talked about it at length to say Chabangu was used by Mnangagwa and all that. That is true. That was infiltration. But for me, again, I come to the question of, I think it was because of internal weaknesses within the opposition itself that was exploited. And we must acknowledge that. It's not wrong to say that we can't just defend and saying, I know ZANU-PF could have done the same thing. It could have done the same thing, but probably with different outcomes. You can't, Ango Jed, walk away from a party that you formed. You can't imagine Julius Malema walking from the EFF. You can't. It means that there were cracks in there which were exploited. And I agree with that. So we need to acknowledge that and say, what is it that caused that, so that in future we know how to avoid such things. But if we become defensive and say, no, this were going to happen, no. We need to reflect on that angle, Jed, and say we made a mistake in this area. ZANU-PF exploited it. We could have done it differently. And that's how we move forward. I think that would be my response to that angle, Jed.
All right. Okay. Thank you very much, for that. I appreciate more. And sorry. Diana, we're next.
Let's go to Ngini.
Hi there, bro. Thank you very much, guys. Thank you for the space again to you, Uncle Jed, and you, Titus. Very interesting. On this one, balance me, Titus, if I'm reading what President Nelson Chamisa is saying. He is saying these are his strategic moves. And balance me on the chronology of events. One, he strategically walked away from MDC. Two, he strategically looked forward and formed the new baby CCC and contested the 2023 election. Three, he then strategically walked away from contesting the results. Four, he then strategically looked to SADC. Five, he then strategically walked away from CCC. Six, he is now strategically looking forward to it's difficult to see, it's not a new baby or what, but a new, to me, it sounds like a new party, new great Zimbabwe. And this is the best decisions that he's made. He is asserting, from my reading of these events, particularly the topic you put there, Uncle Jed, that he did not run away. Remember, he's responding, in my opinion, he's responding to Kasman, I think, that Atiza. And I think in Shona, if you say Muna Atiza, he's running away, not walking away. So he's repositioning and asserting and letting his followers, because he's still very popular. This is why he is relevant, that he did not run away. He walked away, and walking away from these things that I've listed here. So what he's saying is that he's not overcome by events, but he's strategically positioning himself and making a decision as such. So this is my reading, Uncle Jeb, and this is the balance from it. And then obviously in my mind, I must say, well, is this true?
Are you telling me that all what you got from all that is a response to Cooksman?
No, I'm saying he's responding, yes, to the latest Kussman issues that we've been having, to put out this statement to say, listen, people, I am moving strategically, and these are the best decisions that I've made. That means he's not overcome by events and he's not running away. He's simply strategically moved through this sequence of events to where he is today. This is what I'm reading. Or am I getting it wrong somewhere?
No,
Yeah,
no, no. I'm just interested in finding out how Cooksman, fits into that whole thing.
No,
yeah.
no,
I think you might have got it wrong, but let's hear your views.
yeah, no, but Uncle Ted, Cussman has come out here disgruntled.
Yeah, but the Cooksman, when he said, he's, disgruntled, his issues. Did he say he's
He
abandoning,
said
the struggle
Achi
altogether?
is a party.
Achi's a party.
Yes.
Which party did he run
The
away from?
CCC. Unless maybe I was alone and nobody else is hearing it, or maybe I'm reading too much into it. But anyway, towards the best decision assertion now, because he's reframing the narrative here to say what he's doing is strategic and it's the best decision ever. It could be. But for me, when I look at it, obviously, one, moving away from MDC, we debated it in Unfocused Group at length. And we were even saying, form your own party, form your own party, form your own party, until he finally formed CCC. And
Right.
then afterwards, the chronology event, it looks like the CCC became a poisoned chalice. And he left it, which I think he had no option really, if you really look at it, because and it's evident thereafter of what happened. So now the question is the best decision from himself. That means that best decision is that he's not being overtaken by the sequence of events that are happening. It's not ambulance management. But, this is what we really should look at when hearing what he has said today. And I think really, to be fair to him, I wonder whether, one, this best decision will resolve moving into 2028 election or moving into 2030 election. Two, this best decision, is very clear in his mind whether he is going to contest the results if he goes into an election with ZANU-PF. Because ZANU-PF will not hand him over even if he wins, it won't hand him over and move him into State House. So strategically, those moves now is strategically with the new Great Zimbabwe, are we moving into election? Or we're moving into something else that is strategic, that is outside the parameters of an election and contesting ZANU-PF? Because clearly, or he's going to move into mass action, outside the election and abandon the electoral processes altogether. So that now we can say, oh, well done, President Nelson Chamisa. Your strategic moves now are going to wrestle power, because at the end, it is wrestling power from ZANU-PF. And as things stand right now, at every juncture, ever since he strategically moved away from MDC, Ed Mnangagwa has won at every move. And this is why ZANU-PF is entrenched in power and even has the power, looking at it, to move the election to 2030. And not only that, to wrestle any player within the power structures or the power political field of Zimbabwe into contesting ZANU-PF again, which means when you are moving that, you are finally even accepting the results of 2023.
Right.
This is what we have here. Unless maybe I'm reading it completely, I'm from Mars.
No. I mean, this is your own reading. This is your own truth. All what I can do is probably maybe pose one or two questions, here and there to try and